Hi guys, it's Craig here, and today I had an opportunity to get my hands on a couple of fairly popular budget microphones. A lot of people are buying microphones for their podcasts or their broadcasts or for entry-level recording studios, and these two microphones are two of the more popular ones out there. So I thought, why not give these a little go and do a shootout and see which one might be better for you. On the left here, we have my MXL 990 that I've had for a few years. And on the right, we have a Blue Yeti microphone that I borrowed from a friend of mine who I want to shout out to. Hey, Scott, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate you letting me borrow it. He uses it all the time, so I can't keep it for long. But thanks to him, we were able to do this. And he also helped me get started with my live broadcast 4 years ago, okay, 2010. Right, so at the moment, I'm just talking through my lavalier microphone on my shirt, because I don't want to, just using it as a control, because I don't want to get, biased or, start off using one or the other. We're going to do the comparison in just a moment. First of all, before we do that, and you can jump right to the comparison if you want to, I'll put a thing on the video for you to do that. But before we get into comparison, a few things you should probably know, okay? Both of these microphones have their advantages and disadvantages. Both of these microphones, and I will tell you this right up front, are great mics, okay? They both sound great, and I'm not trying to put one ahead of the other by any means. I'm just trying to make it so that you can make your decision based on what you hear, okay? Now, this Blue Yeti microphone is a USB powered mic, so it just plugs right into your computer through a USB cord. No drivers, nothing, it just works, okay? So it's great for simplicity, and I was very impressed with the way it just worked, and I was also very impressed with the sound when I first tried it out, all right? On the other hand, we've got the MXL 990 here. That microphone is an XLR microphone, so it plugs into a sound interface like a mixer, runs on phantom power, and then that goes into my computer through USB. So let me just give a rundown of what I'm running here. This is going straight in through USB. This is going through a mixer and then through USB. And I'm recording using Sony Vegas. I'm simultaneously recording all three microphones so that I can switch between them later on during editing. And that's how I've got this running. There is absolutely no processing, no equalization, no compression, nothing on these microphones. They are completely bare, completely flat. I have been very careful to make sure that I have them set up at exactly the same height, exactly the same distance from me, and I'm using one windscreen. I know the the Blue comes with one of these little windscreens. I'm just doing them, want to make sure I do them both exactly the same way, and I've got them as close together as I can get them, and when I do the comparisons, I'll be talking into both of them at the same time. So that's fair. Now, one last thing, and we'll talk more about each microphone as we compare them, okay? Some people might wonder if I'm comparing apples to oranges, because this microphone is USB powered, and this microphone is powered with a phantom power supply inside my mixer. I was concerned about that myself too. So I looked it up, I did some research, and I'm very reasonably certain that there wouldn't have been any difference if I had a USB-powered MXL 990. As far as I can tell, the USB one and the XLR one both sound the same. And if there is any difference, it's probably negligible in my opinion, okay? I was very careful to research that and make sure that we're not doing an unfair comparison here, because there is an XLR version of this microphone. I just can't get my hands on it, okay? It's not going to make any difference in this particular experiment, okay? I really don't think it's that much of a difference, big of a difference to worry about, all right? So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Well, let's start with the comparison, and we're going to start with the Blue Yeti microphone. So I'm going to switch to it right now. Okay, so now we are using the Blue Yeti microphone. And yes, I'm slouching, try and get in the frame here because it's a low table. So I'm basically talking directly into the mic. I'm about 2 inches away from it. And I will tell you that I had some reservations about this microphone when I, before I actually got my hands on it. But when I plugged it in, it was very, very nice sounding mic. I did not expect it to sound as good as it does. And so I'm very impressed with it. It's a great microphone. Now, just so you know, both these microphones are $130 currently on Amazon. At this point in time, they're both the same price. MXL 990 has a USB version of the mic, and that is $150. So, it's a little more expensive for the USB version of this mic than it is for this mic. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to switch now, and I can do this with software when I'm actually editing, so you won't see me push any buttons. I'm now going to switch to the MXL 990 right now. Okay. Now I'm talking into the MXL 990. I've turned my head slightly just so that I can, talk directly into it. And I'm the same distance away from it as I was the Blue Yeti mic. Now, these mics do have a different sound to them. Now, it's a single diaphragm microphone. It is a larger diaphragm microphone. It has a larger capsule than the Blue Yeti microphone, which we'll talk more about in just a moment. Okay, so I've been using the MXL 990 for about 4 years now, and it's never failed me. And it's for $130. It used to be a little cheaper, but it became very popular, so the prices went up. And I believe that the Blue Yeti used to be more than it is now. So, with them both being the same price, we're going to go through the pros and cons of each of them so that you can decide which one is better for you. Now, we're going to switch back to the Blue Yeti microphone right now. Okay? So, the Blue Yeti microphone, although it might not have quite as deep or pure of a bass to it or a sound, it does have a lot of features that you might find useful. For example, it has different modes on it. It is USB powered, so it just plugs right into the computer, just starts working right away. 2 seconds from the time you plug it in until the time it starts to work. It's unbelievably easy, okay? So it's a great mic for that. It also has a stereo mode. It does have features. It also has a headphone jack on the bottom that you can use to listen to what you're doing, and you can use it as a sound card. So you can tell your computer to output the audio into the microphone and then into your headphones. And you're using it as a sound card. So you can monitor what you're saying into it, and you can also monitor what you're doing on your computer. So it's great for recording, and things like that, because you don't have to, mess around with things. It just works. The disadvantage, of course, is that it's USB. You can't do any processing on it as you're using it. You have to do all the processing afterwards. You cannot hook it into a mixer or anything like that, so you are limited to what you might be able to do with it in the future, and that's true with all USB microphones. Okay, now we're going to switch back to the MXL 990 right now. Now, the MXL 990, although it doesn't have all those features, it doesn't have the volume control, the level control, the different mode switches, and the headphone jack, and this mic also has a mute button on it. This mic, the Blue Yeti, is an all-in-one solution, really, is what it is. The MXL 990 is more tailored towards single use. It's a cardioid pattern microphone, which means it's very sensitive in the front, but not very sensitive in the rear, as is this one as well on the cardioid setting. So it's an all-around great performer for the price. I think that it probably has slightly better sound quality, but it doesn't have all the features and bells and whistles and switches and things like that. So if you're just looking for a mic and that's it, a single microphone for doing vocals or voiceovers or anything like that, and you don't have a lot of money, then the MXL 990 is a great choice. We're going to switch back to the Blue Yeti right now. So we're on the Blue Yeti again, and I'm sure by now you can hear the difference between the two. And it's going to be completely up to you which one of these, if it's a toss-up between these two, which one of these you're going to choose depending on the features that you require and, which one of them you like the sound of better. Because just because I prefer the MXL slightly more doesn't mean that you will. Everyone's got their own tastes, and your voice is not the same as my voice. So it may very well be that you might sound better on the Blue Yeti, but that's something that you're going to have to try to determine just by what you can hear. Now, I'm going to get in real close here, as close as I can. My mouth is practically right on the windscreen, and you can hear that the Blue Yeti has a great close-up sound. It just does sound very, very good. And it's very quiet. And again, it's got the same cardioid pattern as the MXL 990. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the MXL 990 right now. So now there's the MXL 990 close-up, and you can hear the difference between the two. It's funny because when you're doing these microphone comparisons, you tend to run out of things to say after a while. But given that these particular mics are the same price, it's worth comparing them. Now, the MXL 990 comes with a shock mount, which it aids in getting rid of vibrations and noise, and it also comes with a standard mount that you see here, and you do need a mic stand of some sort. You do need to have something to screw this onto. Whether you have one of those arms or a mic stand or one of these things or whatever. We're going to switch to the Blue Yeti right now. Now the Blue Yeti has its own stand, completely self-contained, no need for a stand. It's very sturdy. It actually weighs quite a bit, and the stand practically weighs more than the microphone, so it's very sturdy. It does pick up a lot of vibrations. You'll see as I tap on my table here, you wouldn't be able to be fiddling around or typing too much because you're going to start picking up noise. You might have to put it on top of a piece of foam or a sponge or something like that if you're going to be making a lot of vibrations on your desk. Whereas the MXL 990, you have it on a separate stand, it's on the floor, and you're not going to get too much noise. Now, we're still using the Yeti at the moment, and I'm going to move back, and I'm going to record from about a foot away. We're still using the Blue Yeti. And just to let you see how it sounds when you're a little bit further away from it, my basement here has a very dead sound. There's not a lot of reverberation down here, so you're not hearing a lot of echo is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to stay the same distance away, and I'm going to switch to the MXL 990 right now. So now we're on the MXL 990, and you'll be able to hear the difference between the two. I don't know that there's much more I can really say about it, except just to remind you that the MXL 990 does have a USB version. I'm going to move back close again. It does have a USB version, which is about $20 more. It's about $150 on Amazon. So if you do prefer the sound of the MXL 990, and you don't have a mixer or a sound interface, then you can get a USB version of it. And again, from what I've heard, they sound just as good. Okay, you just plug it straight into your computer and it will work. Okay, all right, so we'll switch to the Blue Yeti just one more time, just to give you one more comparison right now. Now we're on the Blue Yeti, and I hope this comparison was informative for you guys. There are other microphones out there, of course, and I'd love to get my hands on them if any companies out there who want me to review or test out their microphones, they can get in touch with me at craigtubemail@gmail.com, and I would be more than happy to do a review. Okay, so that's it. I'm out. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you to make your decision between these two microphones. They're both great mics, and I recommend both of them. They both have their own uses and their own advantages, and I think either of them would be a great addition to your arsenal of audio equipment. Okay, so thank you so much. Cheers. Take care.